Is it on your Facebook, maybe?
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Closer Encounters. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere, Minnesota. Would you like to be a guest on Closer Encounters? Or maybe you know someone that would like to be a guest on Closer Encounters. Or maybe you have a story to share. Well, please shoot us an email, closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Again, that's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. For everything, Closer Encounters, updates, all things going on, check us out, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Again, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. And please don't forget to like, follow, and share. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Closer Encounters. Sorry about the short notice today. We didn't actually post this. I just happened to jump online this afternoon and ran into Omar, and we were having a little discussion about the coronavirus. And we're like, you know what? We need to bring this live. We got some pretty weird stuff here that we've come up with. And we thought that we would share it with everybody. And, so I want to bring up Omar. Let's see here. We can get him on here with us. Hello, Mr. Omar. How are you, sir?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we were having a pretty good discussion there about, the corona and what's been going on with it and stuff. And you came up with some new news here about your area up there. So what's going on?
Yeah, so we've got an update here about, I guess about an hour ago. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, his wife, Sophie Trudeau, was recently in Europe on a speaking tour. And I guess she returned last night or sometimes early this morning. And she was showing symptoms of COVID. So they ran a test on her. And the government is waiting for that result test to come back. But in the meanwhile, while that's happening, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is under a self-quarantine. So today, I believe just in a few hours, Canada was going to have the first ministers meetings. First ministers, that would mean like the premiers of all the provinces and territories. Essentially, it's like the governors of all the states meeting with Donald Trump. So the premiers were supposed to meet with Justin Trudeau today to discuss coronavirus and a number of other different issues. But now that meeting has been canceled in person anyways. So now they've moved the meeting on to a virtual and over the telephone. So this is a pretty big thing in Canada, that our prime minister is under quarantine.
Wow.
So effectively, we don't have a leader right now. We do have one, but our leader is limited to what he can do. But lucky thing for Canada, we do have a deputy prime minister, and I'm sure she will be grabbing the bulls by the horn and trying to direct at Justin's request and his leadership. So let's see what happens. This is a bad move on, bad issue for Canada. That would be like Donald Trump being put into quarantine.
Right.
So it's pretty big. I believe this is Justin is the first world leader that has been put into quarantine or self quarantine. So this
actually,
is.
I'm trying to think. I think the one in Iran or Iraq, one of those two was also in quarantine.
That's right. Iran's. I believe there was an MP head of their medical institute has actually died.
Right.
From coronavirus, and also a very close. I guess an advisor to the Ayatollah of Iran. He also has died, and number of other Iranian officials are either in quarantine or have passed away. But the precedent thing here is that Justin Trudeau is the first leader in many countries in the world that's been put into quarantine.
Wow.
Right. In Iran, it's been it's been members of the government. Right.
Gotcha.
It hasn't been the actual prime minister or the president that's been quarantined. So Canada's is the first one. It's no prize, I tell you.
Yeah.
Right. Especially prime minister, because yesterday he just released a budget of $1 billion to combat coronavirus and to essentially to begin prep for an eventual lockdown in Canada.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, we got a couple of people in our Senate that put themselves under lockdown. They're doing everything via Zoom or webcam, whatever, back and forth to their offices and stuff. So it's pretty crazy stuff. So now you know why people were running out buying toilet paper and everything. Just in case they were quarantined to their homes or something, you know what I'm saying? That was the main issue about the toilet paper thing,
personally, I think that whole toilet paper thing is just ridiculous.
It is.
It's sheep.
Yeah.
Just chasing sheep.
Yep.
And from the looks of it, this it doesn't infect your ass. Right. It's a lung disease. It's not an ass disease.
Exactly.
Right. So, people need to, really get their heads out of their asses and stop the silly citizen behavior that these people are engaged in.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's really something too. You see all these people running around with masks and stuff on their faces, and they don't understand what the mask actually represents, okay? It's not that it's stopping airborne from coming into your system. The masks that they're using are for you to stop giving the stuff, but people wear them and they think that they're being protected by the outside air, and that's not true at all. They need to understand what those masks actually, how they actually work. So when people see somebody with a mask on, they're like, "Oh my God, they got the corona," and that's what's happening. So people really need to understand what's going on here. A lot of
And
misinformation, and a lot of people just don't. They're not thinking. It's kind of a crazy thing.
yeah, and as well, what we need to do is we need to get away from the stigma
Mhm.
that's being to COVID right now.
Right.
For instance, my wife, a couple of days ago, she said that she didn't want to wear the mask because when she gets on the bus or when she's walking around,
Hmm.
people look at her weird.
Sure.
Right, saying, "Oh, you're wearing a mask. You must have COVID." Blah blah blah. Right.
Right.
So, that's not, the case. The case is that she's trying to protect herself and others
Right.
from contracting this COVID, because
Hmm.
we got to remember that this disease is passed through droplets, right?
Right.
Meaning, if you're sneezing, if you're coughing, if you're spitting,
Hmm.
and that's what causes these diseases. Now, I read an interesting article that I believe it was the doctor from the World Health Organization that had said that if a person sneezes or coughs, in a room, and they leave the room and someone else comes in a few hours later, they can still be infected,
Hmm.
right? Because it's in a droplet and it's just laying around. So if it's laying around and you touch it, and you touch your eyes or your nose or your mouth, you're screwed. You're going to
Absolutely.
get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty, yeah, scary stuff when you really stop to think about it. But here again, like we were talking about earlier, now the H1N1 back in the Obama era was
Hmm.
20 times worse than what we're seeing right now with the coronavirus. But I'm glad that certain places are doing certain things to contain this. But I just hope it don't get real crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, to where people just aren't going to be able to, do their daily activities or whatever.
Hmm.
Now, I see on the news last night that President Trump has banned all aircraft going in and out of Europe, from the United States, other than the UK for whatever reason. And this is going to start Friday night at midnight. So if you're over in Europe right now and you're trying to get home, they're going to have to go through certain procedures in order to get back to the U.S.
Hmm.
And, and nobody is allowed to fly. They're not going to fly any more aircraft from the U.S. into Europe. So there you go. Yeah, they're going to shut all that down.
None of
Always
that
in
really
the
makes any
UK.
sense. None of that makes any sense to me, Clarence, is because, if you're, stopping traffic from European continent to come into the United States, then, why, disinclude United Kingdom or Britain from that? Because as we see it in the news and on the COVID dashboard,
Hmm.
that England is going through a pandemic themselves, right?
Right.
And not to
Right.
mention, why is this taking effect at Friday at midnight? If this was a serious thing, then it should be an immediate shutdown. Like the next flight is the last flight coming into the States. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if I was the Prime Minister of Canada, I'd be like, okay, I'm suspending all flights right now.
Yeah.
Whatever planes that are sitting on the tarmac, they're going to stay there. Whatever's in the air can land, and then they'll go into quarantine. And I wouldn't be sitting around waiting for Friday night, because imagine how many people can get into the continent, United States, Canada, Mexico, and then onwards between now and Friday that are infected.
Right. Right.
Right, so it doesn't make any sense. It's it almost seems like it's haphazardly put together.
It sure makes you wonder. It sure does. Absolutely. Um, I was doing some studying here in the last couple of days, and I hear all this stuff about where this originated from, and different things. And I came up with something that was pretty interesting, and I'm going to play this video clip for everybody here in just a second. But I remember seeing a few video or a few shows about how things are being bombarded, over the globe
Hmm.
by meteorites and asteroids and stuff, And I got to thinking about that, and I'm thinking, this virus and stuff. I wonder if that, is how it actually got started here in the U.S. Or in China and stuff. And
Hmm.
what I came up with. Let me share their screen here real quick. I'm going to share screen. Let's see here. Give it the audio, and I'll play you this clip. This is not very long. It's maybe a couple minutes, and that's it. So let me share this with everybody, and they can watch this. Now this is back in October of 2019. So there you go. Yeah. And this it says that they were looking for it, the astronomers and stuff were looking for that, and they never found it. Well, of course, it exploded over the air, and they're not finding pieces of it anywhere. So um, but my thing is now this happened in October, and there's also other ones that happened earlier than this. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Uh, but my thing is now if it's coming in through the atmosphere and it's got this chemtrail, so to speak, behind it, and it's burning up, and then of course it explodes over northeast China, you know, could it very well be bringing in something, that's being cascaded all across the countryside, or whatever. It's just something I was checking in on. I thought I'd throw that in there to show people, but maybe this has something to do with it. I don't know, but
It's very interesting point you bring up because we've seen in the past that asteroids and meteors and such have delivered some pretty deadly pathogens
hmm
to our planet, and and then not to mention panspermia in itself, which has brought life to the planet, and it could be that this disease is maybe it's not even COVID, and they've just called it COVID
right.
to to so that it doesn't bring more tension to the
hmm
planet when if these doctors start saying that we have an extraterrestrial virus that's infected the planet, people are going to go into a pandemonium and start freaking out, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
We've seen that
absolutely.
before. These people will start rioting, they'll start looting, things
hmm
like that. So it's a good point that you bring up that may perhaps that it was delivered by an asteroid, and that they just simply have calling it given it the same name, you know.
Right. Yeah. The coronavirus or whatever. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. It sure makes you wonder. I mean, it's just something that I thought I'd throw out there for people to see, judge for yourself, do a little background history on what's been happening, and whatever. But yeah, when I when I first thought about that, and then I was actually surprised to see that. Wow, there was a meteor that actually exploded over China. Just a few months before this pandemic, outbreak. So there you go. And nobody knows for how long that China knew about it before they actually come out in January and said, hey, we got some major issues going on here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's been going on a lot longer than what we know. So, yeah. Sure makes one wonder. But
Another breaking news today is Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson announced
yes.
that they have COVID-19
Yep.
and that they too are under quarantine in in Australia.
Yes. Yep. They were down there doing a movie. I just seen a clip about that this morning, as a matter of fact. Uh, but he says they're doing okay. They're, a little feverish, a little sick, whatever, but nothing major. So, but yeah, they're in Australia. So, yeah, there you go. Scary stuff, when it comes
So
down to it. Wow.
so let's talk about people downplaying what's happening here, because I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just the flu. It's just the flu.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to touch me."
Well, I'm guilty of that.
Let's touch on that, Clarence, as
mm-hmm.
to the ignorance of this. Whether it's a false flag or if this is an actual event that's taking place. For people to dismiss this,
Mm-hmm.
candidly, saying that it's just a flu, and they're not protecting themselves, and then thus they're not they're becoming part of the problem rather than part of the solution.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry, Clarence. I'm just still trying to look for that one post that I'd shared, but for the life of me, man, I can't find it anywhere. I know my wife shared it. I put it on Watchers. I put it on Observing Humanity, and it just seems that the post has just disappeared.
Now, Jolene Skipper, thank you, Jolene, for that. I'll put it up here. She says there was a Chinese scientist who said this was from a meteorite. Well, there
Oh,
you go.
wow.
So I got confirmation on that. Ain't that something? And see, and I figured this out on my
That's
own.
pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool. How long ago did
I knew you were a smart guy.
Yeah, there you go. Jolene, can you tell me how long ago you heard this, or where, when it was posted, or whatever? I'd like to know a little bit more about it, But yeah, there you go. See, I didn't even know that anybody else had ever thought about it, but yeah. VJ says I'm not
That's
going
pretty
out of.
cool correlation.
She says I'm not going out of my house. I got my pneumonia/fax yesterday. Yeah, and the last time we talked about this, of course, I've been saying all along, don't worry, don't panic. I threw up the video. I laughed about it, whatever. Call me stupid, whatever. I still think that there's something much more going on to this than what meets the eye. She said, I read it yesterday. Let's see here. I read it yesterday. I will see if I can find you the link. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'd like to read that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Awesome. So anyway, my whole point about this was the fact that, like, when we had the swine flu, the H1N1 back in the era of Obama and stuff, that thing went viral. I mean, it was a pandemic. This is worse than what we got now. And that was my whole point was, nobody really went totally ape crazy like they are now over this corona thing, So it makes me wonder, you know what I'm saying? Now it seems to me that now with all these reports, it's only really bad for anybody over 60 years of age that has other conditions, breathing, health, and whatever, yada, yada, yada. So it's not something that's like just wiping out the masses, even though there's a lot of cases of it. And the death rate is going up, honestly, we know this, but I don't think it's even come close to matching the H1N1 yet. You know what I'm saying? Now, will it? I don't know. Nobody knows what the future holds. So, it's just one of them things. But yeah, I joked about it. I mean, I was one that told people, don't panic, don't worry, it's just a flu, but now we know a little bit more about it. Maybe we need to worry a little bit more, who knows? So
There's I read on online that there's a lot of conspiratorial things that are attached to this.
yes.
And some of it really does truly make sense, because we can't really put it past our governments.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Right?
here's the
They are
thing.
sneaky bastards.
I did see a post, and I think it was from Iran or maybe Iraq. I don't know. I don't really remember now, where they were sent all these red hats from the United States.
Yeah, I shared
And
that video the other day. It's from a guy that I watch regularly, called The Last American Vagabond.
Mhm.
And he laid out a really good case where he had said that the ambassador of the United States, Matthew Toller, I believe his name is,
Mhm.
signed all these hats and gave all these hats out to Iraqis that were infected with the COVID virus.
Right.
And that's how the pandemic in Iraq began. I'm
Hmm.
just looking at Iraq's numbers now. Here, I'll share my screen with you.
Okay. Let me let's see here. Okay. Cool.
You got it, bro?
Yep, there it is.
Okay, so let's take a look at this number right here, right? This number just what was it, like 2 days ago, right? 2 days or 3 days ago, it was all over the media that that COVID had passed 100,000 infections, right? That was just in
Okay.
the last 2 or 3 days. So in the last 2 or 3 days, there's been 33,000 um, new cases.
New cases. Yeah.
33,000, man, in just a couple of days, right? So we'll come down here. This is the dashboard for coronavirus. It's a daily update that they have. I'll share the link in the comments if anybody wants to go and take a look at it.
Yeah.
So far, the biggest two biggest places that we need to worry ourselves about is Italy, right?
Mm.
That had 2,000 new cases, 2,600 cases in the last 24 hours, brother.
Wow.
In the last 24 hours, and since yesterday, they've had 189 deaths, right? Just in the last day. And the next one, we've got Iran with 1,000 new cases with 75 new deaths.
Wow.
Right now,
Okay.
as you
Now I want to say something, and I don't mean to sound harsh, as far as third world countries and Europe and stuff like that, but if you've ever traveled over to some of these places, they are what I say primitive in certain places compared to like the United States.
Mhm.
And what I mean by this is, your outside toilets and stuff, certain places that you go to for like men, let's say, that want to go and go to the bathroom, uh, you know, um, they have these like outside places that are just a hole in the tile
Mhm.
that you go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Things like this. I mean, they're not. I'm not saying that they're primitive, but some of their areas, like Iran and Iraq. Let's face it. They're not. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, their lifestyles and their conditions in a lot of these countries are way back. I mean, you think you were stepping back in time, okay? And I honestly believe that this is part of their problem. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, China, you would think would be more up to date, like the U.S. is, as far as facilities and things like that, which is a big surprise. But you got to remember, China's got how many billions of people? You know,
1.5 billion people.
exactly. I mean, it's just overrun with people, you know. So there again, you know, you're on that teeter-totter deal, you know.
Hmm.
It's pretty crazy. But yeah, VJ says their hygiene level is lower because water isn't as available as it is here. And that's very true. Absolutely. Yeah. But and other things. I mean, you know, they just don't have the facilities like we do here in the States
They
and
don't have
different
the
things.
infrastructure.
Or the infrastructure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? They
Yeah.
have open sewage,
Yep.
in on the streets, right?
Hmm.
Like a little gutter
Right.
that runs along the side of the street where you have excrement
Yeah.
and human waste, just floating openly through the streets.
Hmm.
I remember recalling that myself when I was a kid. I used to go and visit my family in Pakistan during the summer times,
Hmm.
and we had the very same thing. It was like a hole in the ground. You squatted over it,
Hmm.
and then there was no flush. You just took a bucket of water and you just kind
Dump
of
it
used
down.
that to push it down, and then it ended up on the street, and then it would just float. And
Yeah.
if it gets caught up somewhere, it would clog up, and the street would get clogged up. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
With it being almost primitive, or at least 100 years behind.
Right. Right.
Anyhow.
Hmm. Scary thing. Not only that, but I noticed like on your list here, and I haven't scrolled down all the way, but does it show Mexico and
Let's
places
see if
like
we
that?
can. Let's see if we
There's
can spot
Iceland,
Mexico here.
Kuwait.
Mexico, I don't think has really that many cases just quite yet that they haven't
There's
reported.
Mexico, 12 plus
Mexico
one.
has 12 cases, one new,
Hmm.
and no deaths so
No,
far.
yeah.
And
See.
4 people have recovered.
Hmm.
8 active cases, 1 in serious condition, and
Now, why do you think that is? I mean, seriously, when you stop and think about it, Mexico. I mean, anybody that's ever traveled down there knows you don't drink the water in Mexico. Period.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
mean, it's not, you know, and here again, it's like I'm saying, it's like a third world country, you know,
Yeah.
but here they got a really low rate. Now, is it possible that people just aren't going to Mexico? I highly doubt that. I mean, the U.S. has all kind of resorts down there, you know, that they go to, and you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Different other places. There's a lot of resorts, you know, and cruise ships and whatever come in and out down there and stuff. So I'm wondering why it's so low in certain areas and so high in others. You
It
know?
just may be that places like Mexico and the Dominican Republic and Bermuda and Jamaica and all these places, they're simply not reporting their cases because they've seen what's happened with these cruise liners,
Mm-hmm.
and they possibly don't want their tourism industry interrupted.
Mm.
Right? So they don't want to
Yeah.
throw that fear out there that if you come to Mexico, chances are that you're going to get sick. So,
Mm-hmm.
stay away. They're not saying that. They want people to come down and spend their money, right?
Right.
Because, at the end of the day, you got to keep thing in mind that people are greedy,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
they're worried about is the bottom line and the dollar, and they really don't care whether they make other people sick or not, right? As long as the money is there, and that's it. And then we see that happening, across North America here, where the government has had to take drastic measures to say that hey, we'll subsidize your wages. If you're sick, stay at home. Don't bother going to work. The government will pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, had the government not thrown that measure out, people, even if they were sick, they would still continue to go to work, continue to go shopping, continue to go to school, coughing, sneezing, spitting all over the place, and getting people sick.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even if they know that they're sick, they're not going to care, because at the end of the day, it's about survival, right? Money, money, money.
Right. Right.
So to me, that's the
Wow.
correlation that I'm seeing with these like resort towns, because really, when you look at this list,
Mm-hmm.
all the
Well, look at that.
coast towns, right? Like,
Colombia has nothing.
yeah, and
You
Costa
know,
Rica only 22.
Ecuador 17. That's it. No deaths. No nothing. Yeah. See, and this doesn't make sense to me.
Let's
You
go
know what I'm
down to the
saying?
bottom here. Turkey, look at that, Turkey, just one.
One?
Yeah,
Really?
just Turkey, and you would figure Turkey would be
Oh my
just
gosh, they're like border of everything.
yeah, they're at the center of like
Wow, that's
yeah, man.
amazing. So
It
what is
really
going
is.
on here then? You can't tell me that you don't have people running in and out of Turkey all the time in different areas. I can't believe that. Wow, you think they'd be as high almost as China, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah, you figure they'd be way up there, but no,
Oh,
man. A lot of these, if you notice, a lot of these resort places
very
are
interesting.
not reporting really anything.
Hmm, that is really interesting. Wow, that is
And the
something.
one that I've yet to see on here is oh, look, Israel 100.
That's it?
Yeah, 103 cases, three new cases, and then I was just looking down here.
Hmm.
Where was it? I seen Palestine.
How often do they update this list, Omar?
I'm not quite sure how often they update it, but I've left it open for like the past week, and every single morning I check these numbers, and these numbers really don't change
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day until like the following morning. So I'm thinking that they might be updating these like at midnight,
Mm-hmm.
international time, right? So
Right. I
I'm
see
not quite
Spain.
sure.
Look, now look at Spain. This is crazy.
Yeah, Spain's got 3,059 cases, 782 new ones, 86
31
deaths,
deaths.
and 31 deaths since yesterday,
Wow.
right? So these numbers in red here, Clarence, are from yesterday,
Mm.
right? And these numbers are from yesterday as well, right? These numbers have changed. Like, for instance, here, I'll go over here. Let me, I'll just show you.
Wow. That is
Show
really
you what I put up some of these numbers a few days ago here on my page. Let me scroll down. It's
well, thank you, Jolene. I just noticed Jolene posted the link for that meteor. Theworldnews.net. Scientist claims coronavirus came from meteor that hit China last year. Awesome. Thank you for that.
yeah,
Uh,
that's cool. Thank you.
yeah.
Now the question to bear in mind and to ask is that if this COVID was delivered via a an asteroid or a meteor, then we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we're dealing with here?
Yeah.
And is COVID the actual disease that's connected to SARS and MERS from 2002, I think it was 2002, 2003,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere along those lines. And if not, then what is it that we're dealing with? Or did they like change the name
Right. Yeah. And it very well
of
could
this
be.
disease so that people don't go into like a panic mode, right? Saying that, oh, we have an extraterrestrial disease here, and people are just simply going to freak out, right?
Right.
No, this is not the one. Here's where did it go? I just had it. We can compare the numbers right here. This was on March 5th.
Okay.
I put this post on,
So that'd be
so
like 7 days ago.
12,
Okay.
so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a week ago, Italy had 3,858 cases. And we look at Italy today, it's got 15,000.
Mm.
So just from 1 week ago, they had 3,858 with
So
148 deaths.
wow.
It had 1 week ago, and then today, 1 week ago is 1,016 total deaths.
Mm.
Right. So if we, just quickly, let me just quickly do the math on here.
And a lot of folks know that Italy shut its borders down. Nobody in or out of that country at all. Matter of fact, I was telling you earlier about the one lady that they couldn't get her husband's body out of her house for over 2 days. She was standing out on her balcony hollering to people to help her. She had to stay there with her dead husband's body in the house for 2 days before they would go in and get it. Pretty sad ordeal on that part, but yeah, really something.
Okay, so
what is going on here? I don't understand this. How some of these areas that are so. I mean, look at France. With only 2,000 cases and stuff, and everything is so grouped together over there. I mean, how is that possible? I just don't get it.
So I just did quick math on here, Clarence. In the last week in Italy, there's been 868 deaths
Wow.
from the time of this post right here, which was March 5th at 10:39 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, we had 3,858 cases, and that day we had 769 new cases with a total of 148 deaths. And today, a week later, we can add 868 deaths to that. And then if we divide that by 7 days, Italy is at an average of 124 deaths a day.
Wow.
So with the bullshit that they're giving us, that it has like 0.3% or 3% or 3.1% kill rate, I think is a bit far off, because here in this post, right, I'm saying, look, we had 358 deaths with 140 or 3,858 cases with 148 deaths. And when we do the math on that, right, 26.6% people who were infected with this disease have died.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a long shot from 3% or 3.1% that they're giving.
Right,
and China, it's sitting at almost identical with 26% kill rate. Iran was the highest at 32%, and USA at 14%. And I was going to do a few more on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from the looks of it, 1 in 4, right, 25%, who are contracting COVID have expired.
Wow.
Now, the thing that these guys were saying is that this is only infecting or it's killing the elderly, right? So far, that's proven to be true, and they've been saying that young people and kids don't seem to be getting this virus.
Right.
Now, this morning, I was reading an article out of Calgary, Alberta, where a 4-year-old toddler was confirmed to have the COVID virus, and his entire daycare and the families of those children. So altogether, I believe 92 people in Calgary are now under imposed quarantine.
No.
So
kidding.
this is jumping, not only, like young people, are now getting it, children are getting it. And we know that there's that case out of Hong Kong where a dog was confirmed with COVID virus as well.
Oh my goodness!
Right, that's no hoax. That's no fake news, because I read something like that on Facebook, where somebody had posted that a dog in Hong Kong had been confirmed with COVID, and people were running around on Facebook saying that that's fake news and that's not possible, blah blah blah. Right. But the fact of the matter is that it's happening. It is a confirmed case of transmission to a dog. Now, I've been trying to keep up with that story, but there hasn't been much on it, surprisingly. It's coming out of China, so we don't know.
Right.
But I'd like to know whether if a dog that's been infected with coronavirus, if that dog can transmit that to its owner.
Right.
Like through kissing, or simply through bleeding, or licking the face, licking the hand, whatever the case may be. Right.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to keep tracks on that, but like I said, information is far and few in between on that certain topic.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now let's keep this thing in mind there, Clarence. We have Agenda 21, right? Every civic government in the world has this program. You can Google it for your own city, and or even go look at your city's website. There'll be Agenda 21 on there. We have the Georgia Guidestones, right? And then we have these FEMA camps around North America as well.
Right.
Now let's look at the the economics of this. What's happening around the world? There's billions and billions, trillions of dollars that are being lost. Manufacturer jobs are being shut down. It's the beginning of a new decade, 2020, right? So I wonder, because how they've been saying in the media that we need a reset, we need a financial reset. Kind of deal that they've been talking about for the last several years. So now I'm wondering, if this is not part of the, of the greater plan, right, to shut down or to lock down the globe's population, and then to do a economic restructuring or a reset to where they introduce a new form of currency. Because so far, last week and this week, we've been noticing that these guys have been saying that money is dirty, and that COVID is being could possibly be transmitted through a paper money, plastic money. So I wonder if that is a lead up to eliminating cash currency and to bring in a digital currency.
A comment like that myself here on one of my shows about the money. That's why I always use my card, because I'm the only one that touches it, and I don't trust paper money. And I said that. Yeah, absolutely. And I could see that happening.
Now, I've been trying to look for this. I mentioned earlier, I was trying to look for this one particular post earlier on that I seen a couple days ago, where this guy was driving down the highway, and he came across a semi-tractor trailer where it was a beeline, had two trailers on it, and they were both loaded to the brim with coffins from FEMA. These were FEMA coffins, and we know that FEMA coffins, each one can hold up to 6 bodies. And interestingly enough, the logo that was on the truck was that of the Freemasons, the Illuminati.
Right.
What do you think about that? I found that to be a little bit interesting.
Yeah, it is. Christina Nick just posted. She says many countries don't have ill people because they don't make the tampons is expensive and only a few labs can make it. Oh, okay. Well, that's wow. Yeah.
I didn't.
Jolene says, yes, also remember when they were spraying our lunch meat with viruses? Question mark. I would suggest to really read the Agenda 2030 programs on health, etc. Huh.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, good call on the 2030.
Yeah, I forgot about that myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with me. It just jarred my memory just now. So I'm going to post this link from right here.
Okay.
This link right here, I'm going to put that into the comments.
Cool. Wow. Yeah,
So
there's a lot going on here. We just don't, we the people, because we got to listen now. And this is a thing that I said before. This is one of these situations where if you're not listening to your government or your news, who is connected, obviously, with your government, you're not going to know anything, So this is one of those ways where the people, regardless of where you're from, has to listen to your head people, or it's kind of a forceful way of doing that, in a sense, if you know what I'm saying, Wow.
So we have 195 countries on the planet, and as you can see right here, 108 countries
Have
so
got it.
far
Wow.
have reported
Mm-hmm.
infections. So that's looking like about 80% of the world that is infected. Now, here's something scary. Before I forget, last night I was watching on the news, global news, and also CBC, the national, here in Canada, and as well this morning. What these guys are saying is that they're projecting that 25 million people in Canada will be infected with the coronavirus.
No
So
kidding.
about up to 70 to 75% of the population in Canada will be infected.
Wow.
Yeah, that's scary fucking news right there.
Now, how
So
the
check this
hell
out.
did they come up with that? I mean, what? How did they figure that that's actually going to happen? You know what I'm
It,
saying?
yeah, well, they lost control of it, Clarence.
Hmm.
When this began, what they should have done is restrict travel
Yeah.
and shut down all the borders and don't allow anybody in or anybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they haven't done that. And then in Canada, in British Columbia, we had our first community transmission. And this person wasn't in contact with anyone that had traveled, and they just got it.
Hmm.
Right, they did not, of course they did know, because it takes like up to 2 weeks to 4 weeks for the symptoms to set in, and
Right.
during that time they're going around infecting everybody around them.
Hmm.
So I think what they're doing is that they're taking a projection from that community transmission and trying to play that 3 degrees of separation.
Right. Right. Yep. Hmm.
Right, so I'm thinking that that's what they're uh, doing it with. So check this out. Here is the timestamp of COVID
Okay.
from the day it began until today, and this is the world map. I wish I could enlarge this somehow.
Oh, the map itself, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and get rid of this, but I don't think I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this forward button here. Right,
Mm-hmm.
this is from the first day back in
January
December,
22nd. Yeah.
January 22nd, when it first got alerted to the world. And you notice down here in China,
Mm-hmm.
right, where it started, little orange parts right here, right,
Right.
1 to 9, 10 to 99 right here. Now watch as I click this, how this map is going to light up.
Hmm.
Watch how quickly it jumps coming up here in the next couple of days.
Holy Toledo. That's February 1st. Yep. Wow. Hmm. Mid-February. Huh.
See,
Wow.
United States is lighting up now.
Yeah, I see that.
I'll move it over a bit.
I was going to say it's not showing California and Washington up there, but
Right here.
I see there's Wisconsin and yeah.
I'll back it up here just a couple of days, just so that you can get a look at the United States. Not that the rest of the countries are not important.
Right, right. No, yeah, seriously.
It just shows an overall.
Looks like Canada and the U.S. got it at the same time, maybe.
That's
No, there's
right. Now
Washington right there. Yep.
we're back to day one here, and Washington's already on here.
Already on the map.
Right, it's over
Wow.
here, and it's already on the map.
Yep.
Right, so I'm going to start jumping forward, and then we'll see how the world map lights up.
Wow. Hmm. amazing.
Look at Australia just lit up.
Yep. And that's not yellow. That's a bright orange kind of, or
Yeah.
tan. Yeah. Wow. That is amazing.
The amazing part is how quickly this transmitted to the world, right? We're at February 10th.
And they're claiming this is just from people.
Yeah.
Spreading this. This isn't like an airborne thing. They're claiming that this is because of people being in contact with other people.
So look on this day how quickly this turned red. Right? So you notice how this right here,
Yep.
this province,
Wow.
I was showing this to Amy yesterday, and I did the same thing, and we were unpleasantly surprised as to how quickly this is traveling around the world. See, look, United California, see how it just turned orange?
Yeah, but I noticed places like Russia and stuff aren't doing that. So how did they not get it like that? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Russia shut their borders down immediately, connected
They
to
must
China.
have. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
Canada just turned orange. Rest of the world just turned orange as well. Notice that?
Yep.
I'll go back one day. See?
Wow.
Turned orange. California turned orange.
Mm.
Italy just lit up right here.
Yep.
Right on February 24th. Let me go to 25. It's neighbors, right? Turkey is like right here. Or where's Turkey? Yeah, Turkey is somewhere right in here.
Yep.
Right there. I think that's Turkey right here. And there's Turkey.
Now, what gets me as far as the United States, you see California was orange, but yet Washington stayed in the tan zone, the light tan. But yet Washington has more deaths in it than any state in the country. So how the hell can California be orange or, a darker tan? I don't understand.
Check this out. See, Italy is orange on this day, on February 27th. Washington is tan.
Yeah.
February 28th, it turned orange, a little bit more orange.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
February 29th, it turned red.
Oh, my goodness. That's just in Italy.
Yeah. And see, now Washington is an orange color, same as Canada.
Yep.
And look on this day, Iran.
Oh, yep. There you go.
See, this was on March 1st. Iran was dark orange. Next day, March 2nd, Iran is red. Move forward. This is when the United States is starting to light up right here.
Wow.
See how United States states are lighting up?
Yep.
Every day, see? And I'm surprised that Washington isn't red yet.
That's what I'm saying, because they have still to this day, as far as the United States goes, they have the most deaths of anybody in the U.S. So,
I think they're like sitting at what, 30?
Yeah, something like that.
Now, I read something interesting yesterday where on the news, and here we are for today, March 12th. This is the
all of the United States is under tan one way or the other. VJ wants to know, are these reported cases or deaths or both?
They are, they're both, VJ. They are, I'll come over here and we'll go to data right here. Go to data, and then in the data is where it's telling us, like mainland China, 80,783 confirmed, 3,158 dead. Italy, 15,000 confirmed, 1,016 dead. So this right here is essentially the same as this right here. right? So like on this one, I put the link into the comments. This is updated once every 24 hours. So the orange that you see are the new cases that that were reported yesterday.
Right.
And these deaths here were reported yesterday as well. So these are new deaths. A couple of days ago, these numbers were different. And yesterday, these numbers were different. And of course, today they're different. Tomorrow they will be as well. United States, USA, 207 deaths, or sorry, 40 deaths.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe like 30 some odd of them are out of Washington. That's why I was saying, I'm surprised that Washington is not red.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's quite
surprising.
California
orange before Washington, and I'm like, where do they get that from? Yeah.
So another interesting thing that I was mentioning earlier is that just a couple of days ago, this number right here was sitting at 100,000. They were saying that COVID has passed 100,000 infections worldwide, and in a couple of days we've had 33,187. Just in the last few days, and we did the math, right, just a few minutes ago, and we discovered that what was that, 700 new deaths or something like that, or 400 new deaths in the course of the last week, right? So the kill rate on this is like 25%, 26%. Now, before I lose my train of thought, yesterday when I was watching a video, in it, the U.S. government, they were saying that U.S. government is hiding numbers because a lot of it, they're saying that it's related to vaping.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different. Yeah, I don't even want to go there. That's so stupid.
Yeah. They're saying that it's due to vaping and not to the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right? Yeah, that really truly is.
Yeah. The only thing they're doing with vaping, and everybody knows I used to have a vaping channel back in the day. I was really heavy into vaping and stuff like that. And to me, it's just another ploy to help out the actual tobacco industry. That's all it is, because they don't want people to quit smoking.
Yeah, exactly. No, they don't want that.
That's all I'm going to say about that. So screw them and their vaping BS. I'll just say that.
Hey, Clarence, just give me 1 sec, brother. I just gotta do something.
Yeah, I was just going to show some comments here that are up in the chat here real quick.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Christina says Italy is red, is in total quarantine by 3 days. Germany, France is orange. Hungary closed its borders. Wow. Vita, I still can't pronounce her name right. With this information, a whistleblower from Area 51, there was a phone call. It was very strange. He was saying that a dimensional form alien will destroy our world. The population will be destroyed. Only few will be there, so they can control. It's called Project Now. Information from Facebook. And then Kimberly says research Project Zypher, Project Pogo. And of course the Dow closed at minus 2,352. Yeah, and I kind of suspected that we're going to have a drop in our economy, no doubt about it. And the reason a lot of that is because we're not importing or exporting anything out of China or any of that stuff either. So, yeah, everything's going to drop like no tomorrow.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I have had like 6 cups of coffee this morning.
Kimberly says, vape CBD oil, it coats the lungs and protects. Yeah, see, and that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think it's a bunch of bunk that they're doing to promote tobacco use. That's all it is. Because tobacco company was losing money with vaping, and they really went to the extreme on this one. But that's a whole nother deal. Yeah.
So now we've had a lockdown in Wuhan in China.
Hmm.
Population roughly 60 million people that were locked down. Now I don't know if anybody's been watching China and what's happening there, but the Chinese officials and the government there were going around with welders and welding people's doors shut, apartments, houses, what have you, and and physically removing those that were not cooperating.
Right.
But they were effectively able to lock down that province. And then after that, we had just a couple of days ago, Italy went into a full lockdown. Prior to that, Lombardy, I believe that's what it was, the province Lombardy, they had shut that down, and which was quite effective. When it comes to quarantining, and
Hmm.
then they decided that they were going to shut the entire country down. Now that's a population of about 80 million people. Okay, so we went from 60 million people to 80 million people. Now they're saying also that around 75 to 80% of people in Germany will be infected with COVID.
Hmm.
Now, I was reading news where they're speculating that France and a number of other countries in the European Union might also go into a quarantine
Right.
and eventually shut the European Union down. Now, the question that I've got, we know that most of Europe is pretty civil, and they abide by human rights and what have you.
Hmm.
And we know that here in North America, human rights is pretty much just lip service, and they just really don't care.
Right.
Now, we're just a couple of weeks away from effectively going into a quarantine ourselves here in North America.
Hmm.
Now, in British Columbia, they have suspended universities and schools, and they want remote education happening. And in the United States, universities and colleges have also shut down.
Yes. Yep.
Now, my question is that when and if or when this quarantine begins, because it's slowly starting already in New York, right? And then from New York, it's just going to slowly just spread across the United States and eventually into Canada. So, what's going to happen with the homeless people in Canada and the United States?
Well, that's just it. Now, and take California, for instance, a prime example. You know, how many hundreds, maybe even into the thousands now of people that are living on the streets, literally,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just what a disarray they got going on there. San Francisco and a couple other places there, their streets are just littered with nothing but people living on the
Mm-hmm.
street, literally. You know, it looks like a miniature country, for Christ's sakes. So yeah,
Yeah,
what
Vancouver.
happens? With people like that. Wow. Genocide. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Vancouver is Vancouver's the same way. East Vancouver is it's known for its postal code in Canada,
Hmm.
where you have multi-million-dollar homes, and then 2 blocks away you got people trapped in the middle of the opiate crisis in Vancouver, and people have an average income of about $500 a month,
Hmm.
right? So when the country goes into a shutdown, right, my concern is with those who are the most vulnerable in our society, which are the homeless,
Right.
right? We know that their living conditions are not great.
Right.
Their health is not great because they
Right.
don't have access to any type of medical
Hmm.
assistance or treatment of any sort. We know that a lot of them, their immune systems are compromised due to drug and alcohol abuse, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
when and if this quarantine happens, right, number one, right, what's going to happen with the homeless people? I think I know the answer to that. More than likely, what the government's going to do is they're going to round them up and put them into FEMA camps.
Exactly.
And,
Yep.
are they going to be exterminated in those FEMA camps, or are we never going to hear from those people ever again? Kind of like the 450,000 people from the California fires last year
Right.
that just kind of disappeared. And second, the thought on my mind is that because the United States, its citizens are so heavily armed, will the quarantine in itself be effective?
Right.
Because we know when things like this happen, people like to riot and they like to loot,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're going to
Mhm.
hit the streets, start looting and shit. So is it going to be a quarantine in the United States, or is going to be martial law?
Well,
Because
see,
of
and
the
this
fact
has
that
been
people are
talked
so
about.
heavily armed.
Yep, and this has been one of those things that have been brought up a few times. I noticed on different posts, and I've been avoiding that because, well, as you know, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, even though I know there are some out there. Uh, but
Mhm,
that was one of the deals was about martial law, and it was stated
mhm.
way back when this first started that here it comes, folks. This is how they're going to do it, and it's going to be martial law and yada yada yada. Um, is it looking that way? I don't know. It's so hard to say right at this point. You know what I mean? But
I
it
think it
could
kind of is,
happen.
because when you look at I kind of do see it,
Mm-hmm.
with the National Guard being deployed in New York,
Right. Yeah.
right? So
And it's just a
that's the
small town. I mean, in that town in Rochelle, that's not really. I mean, when you're looking at places like Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island, places like Rochelle's nothing. It's like a rural
mhm.
area compared to most of that area. You know what I'm saying? And here they got
How
National
far?
Guard sitting there. So, yeah, what is that? You know what I mean? Why is it they get them and nobody else are getting them? They're there to
I
clean
think
up
it's
the town.
probably experimental.
Yeah.
Could
I'm
be
sorry.
just experimental clearance to see how people will
React.
obey,
Yeah, I
right?
know. I
Start
said
off
the
in a
same
small
thing.
town.
I often wondered that. I said the same damn thing. Is it just a test zone? What's the deal? You know, uh, yeah, really makes you
Small
wonder.
town, easier to control, easier to figure out a plan on where to deploy the troops, and how to like really effectively uh, lock down an area,
Hmm.
right? Because you got to remember, people are armed in the United States. It's their right to be armed. So you have all these
Yep.
people with guns,
Yep.
and and like I said, when people panic, they like to go and loot,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So with a pandemonium like that, that can turn dangerous very very quickly. Um, because we know there's a lot of trigger happy people.
Well, look at it. I mean, when you got people fighting in the aisles over freaking toilet paper, can you imagine what would happen with anything else? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah, I don't
you know,
even want to.
yeah. I mean, wow. Jolene says the New York governor also announced they will be testing um, a new satellite viruses detection system in that area. Now, how in the
Now I
hell do
wonder
they
how
do
that
that?
would work.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
wonder how
What do
that
they
would
do?
work.
They pointing at people and
Infrared?
say you got it or don't, or I mean, testing a new satellite virus detection.
Is it going to be like in infrared where they're picking up
Well, that's
your
just it.
temperature?
Is it going to show it on like the ISIS? Is it International Space Station, or what is it that the? Well, okay. Hey, you know what? And this crossed my mind. Thank you, Jolene, for that. Wow. A couple of shows ago, I was showing about the Tic Tac UFOs and how I thought it was like the XR or the X-37B, right? In
Hmm.
that video, it showed them releasing X amount of new satellites, which are only a foot tall. They're only 12 inches, these satellites. And they were dumping thousands of them in the air. It happened to be on that video. So I'm wondering if that's part of this now that we're bringing this up. Wow. Boom.
I wonder if those satellites have anything to do with Elon Musk's.
It is. It is. That is part of Elon Musk. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like he wants to put up like 35,000 satellites in orbit, right? For like free internet.
Yes.
So he says.
Yes. Yep. That's the same thing. Yep. And they're only 12 inches. They're only a foot tall. And they're only about, I don't know, size, maybe a baseball round as far as that goes. But they can send thousands of these things up in one ship. And they open up the doors and they just float out. And that's it. Done deal. So I wonder if that is connected. Yeah. Wow. Because how the hell would you come up with that technology all of a sudden out of the clear blue like that? Unless it's been something that's been worked on for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think this here is natural. As I stated earlier with the Georgia Guidestones and Agenda 21.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Western world was just so slow to respond to this, and and then I've heard Bill Gates owns the patent to this virus, and he has connections to the lab in Wuhan. Also, he's got a boat that he's taken his family on that runs off of water. He did the projection where he says that this virus is going to kill minimum 10 million people across the world. So, and then a couple of months ago, they did that test in New York. I forgot what it's called, but it was like a trial run to a pandemic in case there was a pandemic. The links are posted on my page if anybody wants to go and have a look. But I personally, I think this is part of a bigger agenda.
It's very possible.
We're in a new decade, 2020, and there was what do you call it? They're saying they want to have an economic reset, and they want to have a currency reset.
Well, when you stop and think about it, Omar, it could make a lot of sense because here's the thing. Trump has been to every country, in the last year or less, and he's been to places and have made friends, including North Korea, that no other president has done. So how is it, now that you stop and think about how is it he can do this?
Trump is special.
So maybe, well, I'm just saying, maybe they are getting together and maybe they are, he's over there saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that, and they're correlating with each other and whatever. And bang, here we are,
Yeah, you know what?
I don't want to really go there. Man, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's a good thought, but
I hate to think this is what's happening.
I can't see Donald Trump doing anything like that. At first I didn't like Donald Trump. I didn't like the way he carried himself. I didn't like the way he spoke.
Right. Yeah.
But the more I watch him and the more I listen to him, the more he grows on me.
Yeah, right.
And then when I watch him talk and I watch him interact with other leaders and his own cabinet and like the airline people that he had a meeting with a couple of days ago, the bankers that he had a meeting with, I believe it was yesterday. It seems to me that Donald Trump is for the people. Right. And he's one of those presidents that stepped in that wasn't supposed to be in there, but got in there anyways, and is now causing havoc for the establishment.
Right.
right? Now, Donald
Drain the
Trump is
swamp.
rich.
Yeah.
Okay, Donald Trump is rich, but he's not really that rich,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
The guy's got like what, $2 or $3 billion,
Yeah.
right?
He's
Two
not
or
a
three billion
Bloomberg
dollars
rich.
is
Yeah.
nothing, right? Compared to, like Bloomberg there, for
Right.
instance. How
Yeah.
many billions does he have? For Bill Gates and
Mhm.
Zorros and all these people, they've got like multiple billions of dollars. So in their league, Donald Trump is literally a blue collar worker,
Right.
right? When it comes to these multi-billionaires, right? Oligarchy people and pharmaceuticals and all these other people. So for me, I think Donald is for the people, and I really can't see Donald Trump going around conspiring to damage his own people. I genuinely believe that Donald Trump means well for the American people. For other nations, I don't know, right?
Right.
But for the American people, I know he means well for them, and more than likely, he's going to be elected again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt
Right,
about
but
that. Yeah.
to ask your question, to answer your question, how Donald Trump is able to really go see all these leaders around the world, like Kim Jong Il in North Korea, how he's able to so easily make friends with them, is because I believe that he's on par and on the same page as them, and that he's easily likable. Right, his charisma, like the other day, like I said, we're watching the airline conference that he had, and one of them had something to say, and very unorthodoxly, he said, okay, well, we'll let everybody speak at the table, and we'll just go from one person to the next, and he allowed everybody to have their opinions and thoughts as to what they were thinking. So I found that to be very cool, because normally you don't see presidents doing things like that.
Right.
And he did it again yesterday with the bankers, where he said, okay, we'll just go around the table. If anyone has anything to say, say it.
Yep.
So for me, that was pretty cool. You didn't see Bill Clinton doing that. You didn't see Obama doing that. You definitely didn't see Bush doing that. You didn't see Reagan doing that, or Nixon, or we can just go on and on. So he's really the first president who's actually really doing that. Not only that, but he's calling out the media, like CNN, you're fake news. I won't
fake
answer
news. Yeah.
Fuck off. Right, kind of deal, right? Like, how many presidents have you seen do that?
Never.
Right? None. Right?
No.
He's the first one. He's changed the presidency as to how the president's office is run. His tweeting, right? That's something that they can't control, and he spits out the truth, on Twitter itself. So I can't see Donald Trump really conspiring. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are against Donald Trump, and there's a lot of people that are for Donald Trump. I'm an outsider. The decisions that he makes definitely do affect me. In my country, in Canada. Right. So, because we're intertwined, we're the same country with an invisible border. Right. So what happens down there affects us, on a great deal. So, and yeah, I just can't see it, man. For me, what I'm seeing is a much larger agenda at work here. This whole toilet paper thing, for me, that was a designed thing, to see how people will react and how they'll respond to silly things, right? Like toilet paper. Instead of going for food and water, people are worried about their ass.
Yeah.
If you got no food and water, you're not going to need that toilet paper, right? So, I think there's bigger things at play here, and this is like I said, they're working on some sort of a reset here. We were talking about this when 2020 started, right? A lot of us were saying that this is going to be the year where things are going to change. There's going to be unexpected things that are going to happen, and here it is. The unexpected is happening, and we're looking for a currency reset. We're looking for an economic reset across the world. Since that bubble burst in 2008, we're just kind of crawling. And trying to balance the economy, and the economy really hasn't balanced. We're actually still in a recession. So, and then with this money thing that came out the other day where they're saying, oh, well, don't handle money because money is dirty and it may be transmitting COVID. So they're trying to put fear into handling money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
so the next logical step would be,
yeah, even I said the same thing though,
yeah.
don't use money, stay away from the money, I
Yeah,
said the same
and the next
exact
logical
thing.
step that I can see coming is that they're going to say, okay, well, we're removing all the cash, paper, coin currency, and it's going to be digital only,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I think that's what the next step is going to be. Because we're ill prepared, Clarence. Like here in Canada, let's say even here in my town in Kamloops, right? Our hospital can only deal with so many. Our hospital only has so many respirators, right? So let's say if we have a breakout here in Kamloops and 1,000 people become infected and they need to go into the hospital, well, we don't have 1,000 respirators in our hospitals.
No.
Right.
Right.
This morning I was reading an article or a post that was made by somebody in Italy that is under quarantine. And this is what they had mentioned, that doctors in Italy are now being forced to choose on who lives and who dies because there are not enough respirators or ventilators for the amount of people that are coming in. So they're in a wartime mode, right? Who lives and who dies, right? And that's a pretty terrible choice for a doctor to make because they're in the business of saving lives, right?
Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I just got.
What's that?
I just got an email. Wow, are you kidding me? This is nuts. Check this out. Ha! Oh my goodness. Hang on here. Let me let me spin this around here in front of the. Oh, I bet you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to be too. Central City Credit Union. This is the bank that I deal with right here in Minnesota. A message from Credit City Union President Doug Ralston. Okay. I'll read it to you just so you guys can. Oh wow, this is crazy. As we continue to monitor coronavirus, COVID-19, developments closely, the health and well-being of our employees, members, and families of the utmost importance to us. Central City Credit Union is committed to keeping our services and operations running smoothly so that we can provide you with the best service possible. It's our priority to identify and mitigate the technological, environmental, and health risks that may get in the way of providing financial services to you. As your financial partner, we also understand that it is imperative to limit the impact that this health event could have on services to our members. We are focused on our preparedness efforts to maintain a safe work environment for our employees and to sustain our business operations. We have a business continuity plan in place that is managed by a dedicated team of experts who are committed to keeping our operations running smoothly so that we can provide you with the best service possible. As such, our plan includes deploying an expanded contact center strategy to ensure timely delivery of service, support, and response times to our members. Programs to help with debt management and or temporary relief. Providing our staff with information and best practices to prevent the spread of any illnesses. Coordinating communications with our employees and members as conditions update. If determined, limiting all non-essential in-person contact. If lobby closures are warranted, we will do our best to maintain drive-through and ATM access during regular business hours, including expanding hours if necessary. We will continue to monitor the situation and will shift workloads as necessary to ensure essential services and office remain operable. Central City Credit Union has demonstrated unwavering support to our employees and members in past emergency situations, and we will use every effort to continue to deliver uninterrupted essential services to you. Thank you. City Credit Union.
Wow. So it's
Wow.
begun.
They just sent that to me in an email.
So it's beginning.
It's already beginning.
Yeah, they're shutting everything down.
They're talking about, don't come into our lobby. We'll keep the drive-throughs open, yada, yada, yada. Wow. No personal contact, Whew. That's ironic. And here we are talking about this money ordeal and stuff. And then I get this email, buzzed it. Gee whiz, dude.
I think what we need to do is we need to get out of the panic mode, and we need to think with our brains instead of our hearts.
Yep.
And
exactly.
what we need to do is we need to begin to prepare ourselves. Now, if a shutdown happens, either the whole country or a province or a state or a county or, whatever the case may be, a city, I think what we need to do is keep calm, use our heads, and just be kind to one another, right?
Absolutely.
Don't hoard, right?
Yep.
You go and buy, 50 packs of toilet paper. What about the next guy?
Right.
The next guy's not going to have any. Let's not freak out here. I think what people should do personally is, they should stock up on things like water, rice, lentils, and oats, right?
Protein.
Like barley and things like that, because that's the food that's it's very filling, right? It's heavy, and it'll save you from starvation in case the lockdown lasts longer than expected, right? Because it's not like we're going to be able to order groceries. I'm sure they'll come around and drop food hampers off at people's doors and such, right? But even at that, you really can't depend on that, because you don't know when you're going to get that, how it's going to happen. So, don't be in a panic. Go out, stock yourselves up, but leave for other people as well, because other people have families too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow, the comments are just going nuts here in the comment room. I'm sorry, folks, I haven't been paying much attention. Let's see here. Let me back up just a little bit. Wow. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? Okay, there's Jolene's comment.
Last thing we need to do is start panicking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the last thing that we need, especially in a state of emergency as which we're in. Like I said, whether it's engineered or not, fact of the matter is that this is happening.
It's here,
and it's not, your regular flu. Sure, regular flu kills 35,000 people a year, right? But this death rate is climbing just over the course of just the last month, right? So, we need to start taking this very, very seriously. Right. Like I said, even if it's engineered to work against us, we still, we need to keep calm and don't dismiss this like I've been seeing. Right. Oh, it's just a flu and it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to catch it. Right. Don't be a hypocrite. Right. Don't say on one hand, this is not going to happen to me, and run out to the store and start buying up all the shit tickets. Right. That, it doesn't make you look good, and it's not good for other people. Fact is that just stay calm. Don't freak out. And, wash your hands regularly. Don't touch your face. When you go outside, doesn't matter if it's whether to go check your mail or whatever it is, when you come in, wash your hands under hot water with soap and water, and cough into your elbow, and, and see if you can, wear a mask to protect yourself, even if it's a handkerchief. right? It doesn't matter, right? As long as your face is covered, it doesn't have to be one of those N95 masks, right?
Right.
It can be just a sheet or a handkerchief or whatever the case may be, because this is transmitted through droplets.
Mm-hmm. This is going back to our talk about the satellites. Christina says it's not only the ones who put a small satellite in orbit. China, India, Israel do it the same way. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, China, when did China just come back from the moon with their rover or whatever it was they were doing up there?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Jolene said, "No, this is something different. Research the how I can't even pronounce that 5G
Hawaii.
Hawaii's, is that how it is?
Hawaii.
Yeah. Hawaii's 5G.
Yeah, like hoo-wah.
5Gs in the country who have contract with them. If you read the reports that have recently been released, China and the People's Republic of China have infiltrated and stolen an unbelievable amount of our technology. This is a national security issue. President Trump knows he has to get the other countries off of that grid controlled by China, from what I have been reading." Wow, that's different.
Yeah, true that. We had a spy in Canada that was arrested and charged a couple of months ago, and I'm not sure whether she's been released and sent back to China or not, or maybe she got sent to the States, because I know the Americans had an extraction order for us to extradite her for spying.
No kidding.
And she was from Hawaii.
From Hawaii.
Telecommunications from China. Yeah, I forgot the lady's name, but I'm not sure whether she's still under house arrest in Canada, in Vancouver, or whether she was actually extradited to the United States.
Wow, that's crazy.
Kevin Cummings got a good comment here. VJ, he's doing pretty cool, eh? He goes, I haven't gone to the grocery store for months. My groceries are ordered online and delivered to my door.
Yep.
Right on, VJ.
Yeah, they have that. But here's the problem, though. Somebody's handling that stuff other than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's scary to me about this whole ordeal is, how do you know the people that are stocking the shelves and stuff aren't sick? I mean, you know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah. That and
it's
another
scary.
down point I can see with that is that wherever the food is coming from, if they go into quarantine and they're shut down, then no one's going to be able to deliver your food to you.
Right. Yeah, right? So, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a down point about that. My buddy Kevin Cummings, he says this is a weapon being used on the human race by the greedy elite. They have their robots to look after them. Yeah. Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Jillian
says, what happens when the internet goes down?
Right. Yeah, I was just going to read that. Yeah. What happens when the internet goes down? Well, we'll be off the air.
I don't think it.
Unfortunately. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. We'll be off the air until further notice. No, but she's right, though, because everybody.
I don't think it will go down.
I don't think so either, because it's the reason why, because it's the lifeline for them. Of the globe.
This is a tool.
Yep, everything is via internet. If it goes down, the only way I think it will go down is if they actually shut the power off. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the only way it's going to actually be affected.
I don't think they'll shut the power off, because if they shut the power off, then people are going to panic and go into a pandemonium.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's winter months up in northern part of United States and Canada. So shutting the power and heat off is, it's not going to work. And second, I don't think they'll shut the internet down, because it's a communication tool for them, because they know that a lot of people have canceled their cable subscriptions from, your regular mainstream television, and that a lot of people are getting their information from the internet, from YouTube. Yep. So this is a form of communique for them, and I don't think they will shut this down, because they're going to want people to stay inside. And only way for them to get that message to you is either through the the mainstream normal TV
Mm-hmm.
or through the internet, Facebook, for instance.
Right.
Right, and in fact, what probably will happen is that people will find that they suddenly have Wi-Fi when they had no internet access before.
Right.
Right, so they'll begin to give internet access to people rather than to take it away.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. VJ answered our question about the grocery thing. She says these groceries don't go out on the shelf; they are only handled off the truck, and the shopper picks them. Fresher quality never gets out into the store. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. But there again, though, are they going to shut down transportation and stuff to keep people from driving on the roads? And you know what I'm saying? How far will this go?
Mhm.
To keep people isolated. Who knows? That's my thought.
Another interesting thing to also keep in mind is that any given city in North America has only about 72 hours worth of food. Right,
Right.
so about 3 days worth of food is in the grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
So also keep that in mind.
Yeah.
When you're out shopping, to leave some for other people, because if you don't leave something for other people, that's when shit's gonna really hit the fan. Because when people start starving and they got to look after their families, they're going to leave their houses and they're going to go out onto the street. They're going to start kicking doors in. They're going to start robbing people. They're going to start looting.
Yep.
They're going to start killing.
Yep.
And and that type of greed is certainly not worth the suffering and loss of human life. Especially during a time when there is a massive loss of human life already in progress.
Right.
So always think about the next person. Just don't think about yourself. Say to yourself, okay, I've got a week or 2 weeks worth of food in my fridge. I wouldn't be going for pizza pops and shit like that. Like I said,
Right.
go for rice, pasta, lentils,
Something
and
that sustains. Yeah.
and oats, things that are very heavy that that you only need to eat like once every 2 days,
Right.
essentially, and that way your food will last. And of course, water. Start distilling water right now. Fill your pots up, boil them, and just leave that water sitting there in case something does happen.
Right. Right. Yep. Good idea. Wow. Crazy stuff, I tell you.
Don't trust the politicians, especially those stupid British ones.
Yeah, I see that's what Kevin wrote. Yeah, it's funny.
Like that Boris Johnson, the guy that never brushes his hair.
Yeah. Marissa says it's very greedy already here. The lines are around grocery stores. Where's that at, Marissa? I'm sorry. Where is it you're from? Just curious.
Here in Kamloops, my wife does the shopping. And the last few days, she's been going into a number of different grocery stores, and she's taking images and showing shelves are empty.
Yeah,
right?
I
Things are
seen
going off
another friend of mine there from Goof on Radio, Rich. He did his own video where he walked through his store and was showing how some of the shelves are empty. He's down in Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah. Marissa says she's in Houston. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But I think the biggest story for today.
Yeah. What's our message?
The biggest update for today is that the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is under a self-imposed quarantine because his wife, Sophie Trudeau, was recently on a speaking tour in Europe. She arrived in Canada last night or early this morning, and was having symptoms of COVID. Doctors tested her, and they're awaiting results from that test. And in the meanwhile, the Prime Minister and his wife are under a self-imposed quarantine. Canada was supposed to have a First Minister's meeting and this morning in Ottawa, and that meeting has been canceled. So far, from what we know, it's been canceled in person, and that the Prime Minister will be conducting this meeting virtually via whatever system that they have, and telephone.
Wow.
Justin Trudeau is the first world leader that's being put into quarantine. To me, I feel that that's the biggest story in the world.
Yeah.
So far, that's developed today. Lucky for Canada, normally we don't have a deputy prime minister. We've had them in the past, but we haven't had one in a couple of decades now.
Right.
And Prime Minister Trudeau put one in place. He installed one. I forget her name, but so right now she is in fact a de facto Prime Minister of Canada because our leader is under a self-imposed quarantine, so he's limited to what he can do and what he can't do. So effectively, as of right now, our government is under being run by Deputy Prime Minister.
Wow. Amazing.
Don't be surprised if that happens to Donald Trump.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yep. Don't be surprised because the amount of people that he comes into contact with, and the amount of people's hands that he shakes, and simply just the people that are around him. Even though he's a avid hand washer, he's a what do you call it? Germaphobe.
Germaphobe. Yep.
He's a germaphobe.
Exactly.
So I'm sure he takes every precaution that he can. But don't be too surprised if Donald Trump or Vice President Pence gets put into quarantine because of the work that they're doing and the amount of people that they're in contact with.
Well, Trump, he's got Twitter, so he's good to go. He ain't.
Oh yeah, that guy's never quiet, man.
He's never quiet. He ain't gonna stop just because he's sitting at the house,
That guy never sleeps.
No, he doesn't. Actually, it seems that way, don't it? Kind of freaky.
I read an interesting thing about him last week where they were saying that they were overseas and holding some kind of meetings, and he got on Air Force One, and his advisors were telling him to take a rest, and he said, no, not right now. I got some phone calls to make, emails to read and such. Right. So he did that, got back to the United States, and he continued doing, and they kept telling him that he needs to go to sleep. And then he said, in a bit, I got some work to do. And the people that he was on the flight with that were half his age, you have to remember, Donald Trump's in his mid-70s.
Right.
When they landed, the people that were half his age never came into work the next day. They were tired, and Donald Trump worked into the night. And one of his people came to him, told him that he needs to sleep, and his response was that he has a lot of work to do and that he'll sleep in 4 years.
Ain't that something?
And I thought that was a very cool response from him.
Yeah.
And that made me like him even that much, little bit more, right? Because it shows me that he's serious about his job. He's serious about the work that he's doing, and that he realizes that he has a limited amount of time, and there's a lot of people working against him.
Yep.
And then that he's going to do what it takes. And that's why, if you guys notice, his eyes are like really puffed up and they're white.
Yeah.
Right. So that shows that the guy is not getting a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah, that's
right?
the truth.
So try to take it easy on him, even if you don't like him. Again, he's a human being, and he's in our camp. Remember that.
Right.
Donald Trump is in our camp. He's one of us. Right. He just happens to be in the White House.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Better him than Hillary.
Oh, she's trying to get her way back in. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Better him than Biden.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Better him than Sanders.
Yeah,
right? Because
that's the truth. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys in the States don't want a socialist running your country, or the Biden crime family.
I sure don't, but I know there tends to be a whole whack of people that seem to do. I don't understand their way of thinking, but wow, it's amazing what support Sanders has.
Yeah.
People just don't get. Maybe they don't know what socialism really is. I don't know.
I don't.
I'm just
I don't
saying.
think they understand.
I
You just
don't
have to
think.
look at Nazi Germany
Right. Yeah.
to find
Exactly.
out what socialism is.
Yeah.
And then if that's
Exactly.
what you want, then oh my God,
Yeah. Good luck for
right?
that.
Sad state of
Yeah.
affairs happening there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see free education and free hospitalization and free Medicare and all that stuff. I'd love to have all that stuff free, but somebody has to pay for it. It
Hmm.
ain't. It just ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Uh,
Nobody's working off volunteerism.
that's for damn sure,
Where
buddy. That's
what
for
it
damn
should
sure.
be.
Yep.
It should be
Exactly.
volunteerism. It should be everyone contributing into their
Yep.
own communities.
Yep.
It should be like that,
It should be.
the Ubuntu movement, where a community is self-sustained off of the community,
Yep.
where everyone in the community volunteers X amount of their time into building of the community, or the necessities of the community, and at the end of the day, everyone has an equal amount in the community, and then whatever you have surplus, you barter and trade that with the next community over for the things that you need,
Yep.
that they may not have and which you may not have. For me, that's Michael Tallinger's Ubuntu. So I feel that that Ubuntu can actually work if we got out of the greed mindset.
Yep.
Of I need $1 million a year to live on. Right? If we give up that type of thinking, it is possible. We can do it, but not with the mind state
No.
that we're currently in.
Yep.
Vita Allison here says Australia is in the flu season, autumn now as arriving winter.
Right.
Yeah, Vita, we're in the flu season up in Canada as well.
Mhm.
We're heading into it, or we're currently into it. So, for me, and this is also kind of ironic, Clarence, that this COVID came out, at suspiciously around the same time as as your average flu season,
Right.
to confuse the masses,
Yep.
even that much more, to throw out that disinformation. That's
Mhm.
why people are running around saying, "No, it's just a common flu. It's just a common flu. It's not going to happen to me," and people are letting their guard down.
Right.
And I wonder if that is part of the greater plan, where people let their guard down, they become sick, and then essentially they have control over you at that time,
Right.
right? So as I was saying earlier, don't panic, use common sense, and just don't fucking panic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you might have the flu, and on the other hand, you might not.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, like you were saying earlier, Clarence, that that the confusion, mindset is already set into people.
Yep.
So we need to really be careful with that and disseminate information as is coming in, because you have to remember there's a law of confusion at work here as well, because they'll tell you half the truth, and the other half you have to essentially read in between the lines and use common sense to figure out what they're actually are telling you, right? I don't know if people are familiar with the law of one, but with the law of one, there's also the law of confusion, which is a universal law,
Mhm.
where these entities that are at play here, uh, you know, they're not allowed to lie to you, but they're not allowed to tell you the full truth, right?
Right.
So they give you half and half, right? And then that sets in confusion and misinformation and such. So be very careful with the things that's coming in from the fake stream media, because we all know that they lie.
Mhm.
You know that,
Absolutely.
so don't believe every single word that you hear. Follow the links that we've provided in the comments section to the COVID dashboard, and go and look at that every day. And keep an eye on your country, on your state, on your province, on your territory, and see how many new cases there are, how many people have been released, and how many people have died, and that will really give you the indication of the seriousness in your community. And then
Right.
from that, you can take the appropriate measures to protect yourself, your family, your community, and your neighbors.
Exactly right.
Remember, you might need your neighbors.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
might need them, right?
Yeah,
You might
you
be in big
might.
trouble, and the guy next door might be able to help you, or the guy next door is in big trouble and needs you to come and give them assistance. And please do so, right? If someone's wailing, at a balcony that they need help, just don't ignore them, because that might be you the next day.
Right.
Okay, karma seems to work like that. So,
Yeah, true.
like I said, please, designate yourself to be a human, not a citizen or a person, and work with everyone with empathy, love, understanding,
Yes.
and on a human level, right? And that's the only way we're going to come out of this unscathed. But the moment we start thinking about ourselves and us only is the moment we're essentially going to get put into that six body coffin
Right.
that they're pulling out, and that may be what their end goal is really about,
It's
is
really
to
about.
control the population, because we know that the Georgia Guidestones is calling for 500 million people, and then they updated that and saying, okay, well, 2 billion. 500 million people may be too little, so we'll go with 2 billion.
Right. Yeah. BJ says difference between flu and colds. Flu has high temperature, headache, body aches. Colds do not. Okay, cool.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. All righty. Well,
Yeah, so we've
we're
been 2 hours.
yeah, just gonna say we're coming up on the 2 hour mark here.
Wow,
Awesome.
already. I can't believe it. That flew by.
Yeah. No pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that flew by. Yeah. Too funny. All righty. Well,
So thanks for this impromptu
absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad.
talk, Clarence. Like I said, when you messaged me, I was setting up my streamer here, and I was just going to do a quick solo video on YouTube
Mhm.
to talk about Prime Minister Trudeau being put into self-imposed quarantine. I thought that is one of the biggest developing stories of the day.
Yes.
So I was going to go and quickly 15-20 minutes talk about that and hang up, and then you messaged, and I was like, wonderful. Here's my brother from another mother, and
There you go.
let's do this. And you're like, when? I was like, right now.
Okay.
It's like, oh, hello, okay.
Let me get to the studio.
Yeah.
All I got
So
to turn it on.
yeah, so thank you for that, and thanks to everybody who shared and commented and participated in this video. Please share so that everyone can hear our message, and really begin to prepare themselves. And we don't want to see any of you catching the COVID and dying from it. You guys support our channels. You guys support Clarence's channel, mine,
Mhm.
and other people that are out there that do a similar type of thing. We really can't afford to lose you guys, because you guys are aware, you're awoke, and there's not that many of us out there that are awake.
Right.
And to lose one person is a huge loss.
It is.
So please protect yourselves and your families, because we want to see you back on our threads here once this pandemic is over.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, very well said. Thank you, sir. All right, everybody. Here it is. We give it to you. Hopefully, some people will take heed and do what you can. Let's see. It's Thursday, so I'll probably skip tonight's show, and we'll wait till tomorrow and see what happens. We'll be back on the air tomorrow night. So until
But
then.
you haven't planned for tonight, Clarence?
Well, actually, I really didn't, but I was kind of working on this meteor thing, with the with the China stuff. So that's basically what I was going to bring it out on. But that's okay. We brought it up earlier, so which is okay. But I'm not really sure yet. I got so many other things in the fire, so to speak, that we can talk about, but but that was one of them. So
I've got a couple few coming up here. I've got my buddy George Mitrovic just penned a chronological book on Bigfoot,
wow,
state by state and
cool.
province by province, detailing sightings and contact with Bigfoot. So I will have him on Sunday. I've also got another gentleman who sent me a PDF, a small book that he wrote called "Don't Be a Cunt." Essentially, it's kind of follows on the same mindset as myself, but his PDF was filled with very colorful language, and I don't mind that since my language is about the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I've got a lady by the name of Nina coming on probably next week. She just had her book published by Sasmic Books, which you may be familiar with, Clarence, Michael Feely's publishing house.
Yes.
So he just published this book for her. So,
Cool.
hopefully I can arrange a time with her for sometime next week to come on. And
Awesome.
that's kind of where I sit, and I might do a quick live stream here and there as this COVID updates and news is coming in. For instance, like the developing story with Prime Minister Trudeau this morning. So things like that, important things. I might do a live video, or I might call you up and say, "Okay, Clarence, let's do it."
Right. Yeah. And away we go.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm standing. And guys, if there's anything that you take away from this video, please don't hoard.
Right.
Hoard is the last thing that really we all need. And just think of the next guy, right?
Mhm.
Be empathetic, and think about others' families as you think about your own family. Right? There's people out there that want to protect and feed their families as well. So if you come in and load your trolley up full of shit, and the next guy comes in and he's looking for rice for his family and there's none there, just think on how he's going to feel and how that family's going to feel and how they're going
Right.
to be for for the foreseeable time when they have no food in their home. So children will be starving. And the last thing we need is children to starve, because if they start starving, then their immune system goes down. And if their immune system goes down, then they're more prone to getting this disease. And, there's no stopping that. So the only way to stop this is with empathy, love, and no hoarding.
Right. I definitely agree. No hoarding. All righty. Okay,
If you
folks.
hoard, children will be affected by it.
That's the truth.
Remember that children will be affected. So
Yep.
keep the children in mind. If there's anything that we need to protect out of this disease virus, is the children.
Yes.
Now, one thing before we go, Clarence, it just came to my mind. I've been reading these things online
Mhm.
where they're saying that this COVID was released because they want to control the aging population. Since it seems to be targeting the aging population, and the facts behind it were that that they don't want to spend the healthcare money on these people, and that they want to empty up some beds, and and that they just simply are trying to get rid of them so they don't have to pay the Social Security.
Right.
Trillions and trillions of dollars, would be saved if they did that. I just wanted to quickly get your thought on that before we sign out.
Well, I understand what people are saying, and how they would think that. I don't know. I just don't see it happening that way. I mean, it's very possible, but boy, I don't know.
It would have to be a smart virus.
It would have to be. Yeah, absolutely. Because
Targeting age.
yeah, I mean, Only because the elderly so far, the only ones that have died are the ones that have pneumonia or heart problems or
Hmm.
lung problems, or whatever. Um, and these younger folks, I mean, you would think that this virus would just kill anything that it gets in its way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Much
Hmm.
like the N1 virus that we had, a few years ago or whatever, the
Hmm.
swine flu. That thing did not care who it attached to.
Yeah.
You got that, you were done. I mean, that's, and stuff like that. So I just don't see it happening that way. I think it's unfortunate that the older folks are more susceptible, but what does regular flu do? Regular pneumonia. It does, it does the same thing. If you're
Hmm.
younger, strength is up, yada yada, you can get through it. If you're older, you get fluid in the lungs, you die. I mean, that's
Hmm.
you know, so yeah, I mean that's the way I'm looking at it. It's not much different than the actual pneumonia as far as
Hmm.
that part of it goes. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree 100%. For me, when I was looking at that, I was like, well, if that's the case, then this is a very smart virus that they've engineered to strictly go after the
yeah,
aging gene,
yeah.
right? Which I just don't think they have the technology to
I
do
don't think so either.
something like that. I
No,
highly doubt it.
I highly doubt
So
it.
I
No,
just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I was thinking about that earlier because I've read a lot about that online.
yeah, yeah,
So I wanted to just quickly get your thought on that. So thank you for that.
yeah, not a problem. Thank you. Okay, folks, we're going to jump on out of here. So,
Right
uh,
on, guys. Hopefully, we'll catch you on the flip.
absolutely. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you again here very, very shortly. Okay, thank you all. I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you.